I remember the moment I got the text. It was innocuous, almost casual. "Can you cover for me tonight?" It was from her, my wife, asking me to pick up an extra shift at her work, a small boutique she'd recently opened. I had no reason to suspect anything. We were married for 7 years, and I trusted her implicitly. But something about the timing, it was a Friday evening, the night of the CEO's wedding, stirred an odd feeling in my chest. I brushed it off, telling myself I was being paranoid. After all, we had always been honest with each other. Still, as I walked into the grand hall that night, dressed in my black tuxedo, I noticed a subtle tension in the air. The room shimmered with chandeliers, the kind of place where fortunes were flaunted, and every smile seemed a little too polished. I was there as a guest of the company, accompanying my friend and colleague, but I didn't expect the spotlight. That's when I first saw her, the CEO's fiancée. She moved with this effortless arrogance, laughing a little too loudly, surveying the room like it belonged to her alone. I barely registered her at first, until she pointed at my plate, half a steak, carefully plated with truffle butter, and said, loud enough for a few nearby guests to hear, "Staff eats in the kitchen." She didn't know who I was. She had no idea I wasn't part of the waitstaff, that I wasn't invisible. For a split second, shock paralyzed me. Then I smiled. Not out of submission, but the kind of smile that hides a storm, a warning. She walked away, still laughing with her high society friends, leaving me staring at my plate like it had betrayed me. That night, as the music played and champagne glasses clinked, a seed of doubt began to grow. My wife had seemed distant lately, missed calls, half-hearted excuses, and her sudden obsession with late-night texts that she would hurriedly hide when I came into the room. I tried to ignore it, tried to rationalize, but the unease was there, gnawing at the edges of my mind. The real unraveling came a week later. I was scrolling through my emails when I noticed a message I shouldn't have seen. A reservation for a private dinner at a luxury hotel. The name in the recipient field my wife's initial, but not sent from her phone. My hands trembled as I read the details. A man's name, her name, and the kind of intimate phrasing that made my stomach drop. At first, I questioned myself. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe I had read it wrong. But the more I recalled, the late nights, the sudden secrecy, the distant smiles, the more I realized the truth. The betrayal wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. When I confronted her, my voice was steady, but my chest burned. I laid out everything, the texts, the emails, the uneaten dinners where she had invented excuses to avoid me. She didn't deny it. Instead, she looked at me with a mixture of guilt and defiance, explaining her loneliness, her need for attention, her mistakes. I wanted to scream, to collapse, to shake her until she remembered what we had. But the words caught in my throat. I left that night, not with anger but with a profound, aching sadness. Every memory of her, every shared laugh, every promise now felt like a lie we had both been living in. I remember sitting alone in our apartment, the quiet heavy around me, and realizing the one person I had trusted completely had broken that trust. It wasn't cinematic. There were no shouts, no dramatic gestures. Just a slow, grinding heartbreak, and the hard decision to reclaim myself. I changed the locks, deleted the photos, boxed the memories, and slowly, painfully, started living for me again. Weeks later, I returned to the CEO's wedding hall, not as a guest, but to retrieve something I had left behind. I saw her again, flustered, searching for the recognition she never earned from me. I smiled again, this time genuinely, not in warning, but in liberation. She had taken my plate that night, thinking she could diminish me. But what she never understood was that my worth wasn't on a silver tray. It was in my dignity, my choices, and the quiet strength that comes when betrayal cannot define you. Sometimes, I still remember that moment, the glittering hall, her smirk, my silent smile, and I don't feel pain anymore. I feel clarity. I learned that night that respect cannot be demanded, it must be earned. And I had finally earned it back, for myself.